Hello, today is time to do a tag. I was thinking I was opening my video, but I am opening my video. But I'm in a tag video. It's a Tuesday tag, but no, you're looking at it right if this is Thursday, because this is Thursday when I'm actually getting to it. But I was tagged by Susie over at Susie Buie, B-U-I-E, and B over at B's Weight Watchers Journey. I'll leave a link to their channels down below, and go check them out and subscribe, because they give good content. They're really good. And I am going to tag Liz over at 23 Points a Day, Gina over at Gina Pearson, Chelsea at Mom Life in My 30s, and of course the brat, Angela over at Smack Vision. So let's get started. I have them written down here, so I'm going to be looking down every once in a while. The first question is, what was the last funny video you watched? If it's a video, Jim's my husband. Jim showed me a commercial for a Geico commercial where they weren't happy with the neighbors upstairs and they were cloggers. And so even when they brushed their teeth, they clogged. It was a cute commercial. So I would say that was the last funny video I watched. Number 2 is, what do you do to get rid of stress? Well, I suffer from anxiety attacks. I've had them since I was 16 years old. They're just, the very first one I ever had was, well, I suffered from convulsions. I know, if you watch my channel before, you know I kind of go off. I kind of stray off. I suffer from convulsions, and when I was 13 years old, we lived in a bungalow, and we didn't have air conditioning. We had like a little fan that went. Everybody had one of those fans, which didn't do diddly squat. But so I had gone to bed completely naked, because it was just up in the bungalow was myself and my 3 sisters. They see me naked, I don't really care. So during the night, I had a convulsion, and my mother had called the fire department. And I should back it up just a little bit, is the fire department was at the corner of our street, and we used to pass it all the time when I went to school. So I had to have been about 11 probably, because I was still in elementary school. So I probably was 11. Yeah, because that's when I first started having convulsions, when I was 11. But we used to stop all the time and talk to the firemen because they were firemen back then. They weren't firefighters, they were firemen. And we would talk with them all the time, you know, and they knew our names. Oh, hi, Sandy, blah, 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 and all that. And then they'd give us cookies and stuff. But anyway, when I finally came out of my convulsion, I looked up, and here were all my fireman friends looking at me completely naked. I was mortified. Needless to say, I never stopped for cookies again. I just walk right by. But anyway, my very first anxiety attack was in the 11th grade. I was in class, and I could feel, because I had, like I said, I suffered from convulsions. And I was so anxious because I felt like I was going to have a convulsion. And I didn't want anybody to see me, because if you've ever seen anybody with a convulsion, you know, it's not a pretty sight. Anyway, and so I could feel one coming on, and this was a really mean teacher that never let you leave, even if you had to go to the bathroom. You had to wait to the end of the hour. And I was going to raise my hand, and I thought, what's the point? He's not going to let me out of the room. So I left. I completely left the room and went to the girls' room, and did have a convulsion. And luckily, a teacher had found me, you know, and, you know, she, whatever, took care of me. And so then when I went back to the class, he kicked me out of the class. I had to go to the principal's office. My mother went over there and rose holy hell, because, you know, like, but anyway, that's not what you wanted to know, but that's what you got. How do you get rid of stress? Now, because I still suffer from anxiety, and that was really my very first anxiety attack. It really wasn't a convulsion, it was an anxiety attack. They determined later when I went to the doctor and the neurologist and that. What I do is I figure out how much stressed I am at that particular point, and I give it a number between 1 and 10. And then I just try to sit quietly and focus on something, say prayers, just kind of meditate, just wait until the 10 minutes pass. And if it's worse than a 10, then I give it 10 more. But that's how I kind of, I know, long-winded, sorry about that. Do you have pets, and what is their name? I did have, we had a dog, my son Danny had a dog named Millie, and Millie was one of these kind of dogs. We had a cat too, named Tat. What was her name? I forget the cat's name. Isn't that sad? It was Christy's cat. But Christy didn't like the cat, but the cat loved Christy. But every time you opened the front door, or any door, Millie was off like a shot. And she was just, we couldn't train her for anything. And Jim had a friend that did really truly have a farm. Really truly. Because even now my kids said, did Millie really go to the farm? Or did she go to the farm? But no, she really did go to the farm. And she lived a long life. She was able to run the fields. And she was just a runner. She was just a mutt dog, but she was just a runner. And then the cat, which I'll have to find out from Christy what the cat's name was. But anyway, when Christy would do her paper route, the cat would follow her and go up to the thing. The cat would stop at the sidewalk. Christy would walk up to the door, put the paper on the porch, and then come back. And then the cat would walk with her. Christy hated it. All the neighbors loved it because they thought it was so cute that the cat would follow them. And the dog, Millie, she was a smart dog, though, because what she would do, she would drive me crazy, is because my kids were little and I was the one that always had to go find her. You would be looking and you'd stop and you'd go, where is that damn dog? Where can that damn dog be? And it was like the dog knew that you didn't know where it was. And it would like play with you. And then all of a sudden it would bark. Like, fool, I'm over here. And then we would go and try to get the dog. And then just as we were ready to scoop down and pick it up, it would take off again. Ew, that dog just drove me crazy. But then we did have 2 more pets after that. We had, well, we had more than 2 pets. But we had a cat named Billy that just went wild. It just went wild. So we had to get rid of Billy. But we had Riley, we had for 13 years, and I had Minnie Moo, which I had for like 20 years. It was sad when we had to put them down. Anyway, sorry, this is going to be a long video, I can tell. Favorite kitchen gadget? I really don't have a favorite kitchen gadget. It'd have to be the toaster, I guess, because I love to have toast. I like my electric can opener. I don't like the hand can openers. It's too much work. Precious bee in here doesn't need the queen. Oh, I'm not the queen. That would be the Brat over at, and Precious is Christy over at Planning Us Healthy. So, Her Highness doesn't like to use a hand can opener. Where is your happy place? My happy place is any place that my family is. And I know that's like a cliche thing. It's just, I so look forward to having our family meals all the time, which I don't have anymore because of this. And, don't you hate when people do that? Anyway, but my happy place is anywhere with my kids and my grandkids. It's just, but actually, if I had to pick a destination place or anything like that, is the cottage that we rent up in Lexington. It's on the beach, and I can just sleep with the windows open and hear the water waves hitting the shore and wake up to the sunrise every morning, then go back to bed. I don't stay up. But that would be my happy place. My happy place on the beach with my family. There you go. Best friend in elementary school. I had 2 best friends, and one I'm still friends with. Sue Newer was my bestest friend, and we're still friends to this day. We lived down the street from each other, and we met each other in kindergarten. Like we were like 4 or 5 years old, and we've been friends ever since. As a matter of fact, when I met Jim met Sue and I at the same time, and he started dating Sue. And Sue and I had a little, sorry about that. Sue and I had a little like this disagreement because if you've watched my channel, you know. Who am I in love with? Chuck Cybeck. I was in love with Chuck Cybeck. But he didn't give me the time of day. And Jim was dating Sue, and Sue said, you can't get anybody. And I said, I can get Jim away from you, blah, blah, blah. And guess what? I did. We're going to be 49 years married in July. Sue actually found someone else. She had a son, Matthew, with her. And she's lived a happy life, too. It just worked out. Favorite book as a child. You know, I didn't read too much when I was a child. I guess I'm making up for it now because I'm a voracious reader. I read everything. Is that the right word? Anyway, I read a lot. I just read a lot. But, you know, I got books everywhere. I'll show you. I'll show you my books. Okay, I've got books there. I have books there. I have books there. Here's my chuckles. I have books here. Got all these books that I can read. I have books there. Here's some more books. And of course we got these books too. I have books everywhere. Even more books. There's books behind, but you can't see them, but there's books behind there. See, I told you, books everywhere. Anyway, I guess I would have to pick, I used to like Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys. I like to read the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew. My favorite all-time, favorite all-time book is To Kill a Mockingbird. I just love that book. Favorite genre of books, murder mysteries. My Denise and I always kid that we would know how to kill somebody, bury the body, and get away with it. Don't mess with me. Anyway, my favorite authors are John Sanford, Patricia Cornwell, Sue Graft, Mary Higgins Clark, no, not Alex, what's his name? Harlan Coben, James Patterson, although I don't think James Patterson writes the books. I think he writes the outline. I've told you this before. I think he writes the outline and then has somebody else write the book. But those are my favorite books. What did you do on your last vacation? Well, that would be last year when we rented the cottage at in Lexington, and also I go every year to Minnesota to visit my cousin Paul and Kathy and Michael. I go with my cousin Lynn and Dale and Sarah. We all drive at like a 13, 14-hour drive all in one swoop. But that was my last vacation. What extracurricular activities did you do in high school? I was on the student council. That was my extracurricular. I was just like a representative for the 10th grade. I did that, and then I was a representative in the 11th grade and then the 12th grade. So I had a 3-year reign. I got elected 3 years in a row. Also, I worked as the counselor's aide in the counselor's office, which my friends absolutely loved because they always got a pass. You know, because back then you had to have a pass if you were late or if you were going to be sick or if you had to miss a class or something. And I put the little stamp on it and sign it. They'd be on their way. But one of the perks of working in the office is Jim had the same counselor. And I was working for, and our counselor was Mr. Parmentier. And Jim's mother, when I first started dating Jim, wanted to know about this girl Sandy Manning that he was dating. What about her? So she called the counselor's office because she wanted to find out from the counselor if they knew anything about me, and I took the call, and so I just pretended that I was somebody else, and I just raved about this Sandy Manning. What a good catch she was! How nice she was! How studious she was! What a great student she was! She was popular. She was loved, and blah, blah, blah. It took me years before I confessed to her that I did that, but I didn't lie. I was a good student. I was an all A-B student. I was taking college prep classes. I worked in the counselor's office. I was on student council. I was in the French club. Oui, mes dear. But my biggest regret in high school is I really wanted to join the ski club, but I didn't know how to ski, and I didn't realize at the time that they would teach you how to ski because I would have liked to do that. But anyway, thank you so much, Bea and Susie, for tagging me. I'm sorry it went on so long. I'm sorry that, you know, if you watch my channel, you know I kind of drift off a lot. But once again, I'm going to tag Liz over at 23 Points a Day, Gina Pearson at Gina Pearson, Chelsea at Mom's Life in My 30s, and the Brat, Angela, over at Smack Vision. So thanks once again. I look forward to these Tuesday tags, and there's a lot of them out there. So just click on a lot of your favorite channels because I'm sure they're there. And when you're at these channels, please subscribe. You won't regret it. So I'll talk to you guys on my daily vlog.